And so I'll start by giving you an overview of the OECD.ai Policy Observatory that serves as a hub across the OECD for understanding AI governance and best practices for ensuring trustworthy AI. So to link this again to what Carlos said yesterday, there are many resources on AI in the public sector at OECD.ai/gov. So we try to have a consolidated hub for our work on AI across the House. The observatory provides many resources on AI, including a catalog of live data with current trends. And we've heard, I won't go through this because we've heard throughout the day today and yesterday, a lot of trends on skills, on jobs, on investment, on so on. It includes a catalog of tools for trustworthy AI. So these are tools. These can be different types of tools. What we mean by tools and metrics are really technical tools, procedural tools like standards, and educational tools. So they're all available in the tools section. The catalog of tools section. We include an AI incident monitor. And why are we doing that? The incident monitor is really to track, what's going wrong with AI where, and does it correspond to what we thought a few years ago would go wrong? And do we need to readjust in that case? It includes a policy navigator and many other resources. So moving forward, one of the resources that on OECD.ai is the Policy Navigator, which now tracks over 2,000 AI initiatives from over 80 countries and international organizations and fora, including the UN, for example. I don't see Lucia in the room, but it includes the UN's initiatives, for example, and it's been quite successful so far in terms of being the largest government-vetted and up-to-date repository of AI policy in the world, and it's easy to create. Not easy. It's fairly easy to create a repository of AI policies at time T, but it's really hard to maintain that up to date over 10 years, which we've been doing. Because policies on AI keep changing every single day. So there's something new every day. So keeping it up to date is really the hard part and is also the part that makes it useful, because you know that it's going to be up to date or quasi up to date. It helps countries track progress and benchmark AI governance across the OECD AI principles, and critically identify opportunities for collaboration, look at what other similar countries have been doing, and so on. So the Navigator currently includes initiatives from 8 Latin American and the Caribbean countries, which you can see highlighted on the slide. Sorry, what am I doing? Sorry, I was on the wrong slide. So the 8 countries that are covered in the observatory are highlighted here. And with your help, we'd like to expand the coverage of the region even more. If you are interested in having your country initiatives included in the Navigator, please do not hesitate to come and talk to us. We've made it very easy. And in addition, the person who is in charge of this speaks Spanish. And is right here in the room. So, so Guillermo over there with the red tie is the person who is in charge of the Navigator. So the live data section of the observatory includes indicators, as I said, on AI news, scientific research, investments, jobs and skills, software development, search trends, and a lot more. So this is just a few of these. But what's interesting is that the portal leverages live data to show timely trends on about where, how, and at what rate AI is being developed and used, and in which sectors and by which actors. And that's very important. And again, here the concept is it's to complement national surveys, which will give us information about what was happening a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. But the concept is really to try to capture what is happening today, and now we're working on actually, can we find ways to capture what we anticipate will happen tomorrow. So this is this is just one example that I'll show you, which is really about language representation now today. So despite being in the top 5, less than 2% of the total is in Spanish of data resources that are available on Hugging Face, which is a major open source platform for data repositories and data resources. Especially when you compare that to English, which dominates with 59%, this makes it challenging to train large language models in Spanish and in other less represented languages even more. We've also been supporting international collaboration in AI governance through a network of experts, a very large network of experts, which now includes over 1,000 networks. Recognizing the growing need to track AI incidents, especially as now most countries are taking a risk-based approach and sort of assessing what they think the risk of certain applications is going to be. The idea here is, for example, in the EU AI Act, which has an annex with different applications and the risk level that somebody thinks they correspond to, we established an AI expert group on AI incidents, co-chaired by the European Commission and the US NIST, with about 70 experts to do 2 things. The first goal here was more conceptual. The goal was to define AI incidents and hazards and create a common reporting framework that is for AI incidents, which we published last year. And that's very important because as the number of incidents grow in AI, as AI permeates our economies and societies, it's really important to be able to track what is going wrong and where, and to avoid it happening and to avoid incidents being replicated elsewhere when they could be prevented. So we have a framework for that, which the EU is using as the first jurisdiction to impose mandatory disclosure of AI incidents. But we expect that over time, different jurisdictions will impose mandatory disclosure of incidents in healthcare devices, in workforce safety, and all kinds of other high-risk elements, and so we want to. It's very important to be able to compare those because we've been in situations before, as a worldwide community, where we build 5 regional frameworks for incidents. For example, for product recalls. To take a practical example, products that have been that have caused injuries or caused deaths, or that are dangerous, they're recalled in one jurisdiction, but there's no way for other jurisdictions to know that those products are dangerous and have been recalled somewhere. And therefore, containers arriving at a port in Costa Rica, the customs officers had no way for 20 years to know that these were dangerous and recalled elsewhere, leading to more accident incidents and harm. And that was a starting point for beginning this work in 2021. And then based on that, we started to think, well, can we think of actual public information on incidents that we could use as to test this framework, but also maybe to give us some clues of what is front line in people's minds, at least in the press mind. So the public source that we started with is the media, incidents reported in the media. And so we created an AI incidents and hazard monitor based on the media for the time being. We will be adding different sources of information. And so this is what I will show you real quickly. Sorry. Okay, so, well, moving backwards, just to, I think I missed this slide about the incidents that were happening today. But in any case, I mean, everyone can guess, the number of media reported AI incidents and hazards is rising very rapidly. However, compared to the share of total AI news, the number of incidents is actually dipping slightly. So in other words, media attention on AI is not actually focusing on risk and harms as much as it was at the beginning. But I won't. All of this is disaggregated on the website, so you can really dig into the types of incidents, what happened, what types of harms, and get very detailed information. So another one of our projects that's been quite successful is a catalog of tools and metrics for trustworthy AI. So this is an open catalog, open to anyone. It includes all kinds of tools and serves as a one-stop shop for helpful approaches, mechanisms, and practices to help AI actors develop and use trustworthy AI systems and applications. So it's been developed with the support of many entities, including the UK Department of Science, Innovation and Technology, the US NIST, standardization body, the European Commission, and the Partnership on AI, as well as some more, which are coming on board now. It has more than it has about 1,000 tools. So these are tools that can help in any sector. There's a sectoral that can be filtered by country, by stakeholder, by sector, by type of objective linked to the principles, so privacy, security, and so on. And we're working on improving this catalog quite actively, keeping up with AI development. So we've been adding metrics. So how are we measuring, metrics linked to large language models in particular and AI agents? We also have recently included tools on how AI can be used to manage natural disasters, such as earthquakes or flooding. And these tools we have found used in Southeast Asia, like the one on this slide, was developed in Indonesia. So this is really kind of bringing together all this knowledge so that there's one place where it can be found, and so we, as hopefully becomes clear from this short presentation, the OECD really advocates for global governance efforts to AI systems, and one of the most recent and I think prominent efforts in today's sort of more complex geopolitical environment is the efforts we've been doing in the context of the G7 and with the private sector. And so what we worked on last year with the G7 and a task force of private sector actors, so the top developers and top companies in AI, is really a voluntary reporting framework to help monitor how organizations comply with the International Code of Conduct basically comply with AI principles. And for context, so this process led to deliverables, and to a wealth of information that the companies voluntarily provided to us. So we have, for the time being, the 20 largest companies, which have reported to the OECD what they're doing on very, very detailed areas of concern, including security, privacy, and many, many, many others. And this is important because in a situation in which a lot of actors are concentrated in one jurisdictions, it's quite hard to get an agreement for international agreements to take place amongst governments. And in that situation, one way to make progress nonetheless is by speaking with the private sector, creating this group of very powerful private sector actors who can exchange best practices, align on how to do things, and what works, what doesn't work, and so on. That's not what we would have liked to do, but it is work. It is very helpful, and it brought a lot of information that was not previously publicly available to the eyes of researchers, of audit companies, of AI systems, and so on. So so to help organizations apply the code of conduct in practice for advanced AI systems, we created a tool for this voluntary reporting, and it's you'll see on the right-hand side that it includes 7 sections: risk, how they identify and evaluate risk, how they manage risk and information security, so cybersecurity basically, how they report on, how they provide information on the AI systems that many people in the whole wide world are using. For example, what data they've been using, how they've processed the data, how they've dealt with issues, how they're organized, how their governance is organized, how they manage incidents, and how they authenticate content, and provenance. What are the provenance mechanisms? So those are very, very, very helpful. We published a report in September, which is online, which provides a lot of information. So now we're working on moving from what were the large developers were along the AI system life cycle. So we started with the developers, but deployers like Infosys and Cognizant, the companies that are deploying these models for clients, were very interested in also, knowing what the developers are doing, having information from developers, but also themselves having a one-stop shop where they can explain what they're doing and how they're doing it. So I think that I'm running out of time, but I really love this picture that I saw in the airport when I arrived, so I really had to show it. So just to mention a workshop that we held on Wednesday on opportunities and challenges for LAC in this new economy. And we heard how AI represents huge opportunities for efficiency well over natural intelligence, and also a strong desire that this artificial intelligence and the use of this artificial intelligence not take place at the expense of natural intelligence, nor at the expense of the environment that supports this natural environments. So we had a very rich discussions and presentations on key enablers, holding back the region in AI talent, R&D, startups, innovations, and just my final slide, and I'll finish with that. And the good news is that LAC is leading in a number of practical applications, including fintech and financial inclusion, agriculture and the environment, public services, and we heard that from our colleagues, and social policy, as well as language and culture, where there are numerous initiatives So with that, I think that I just want to say that we know that AI is rapidly transforming the global economy. I think we all know that investments from both public and private sector actors are needed. We heard a lot about that yesterday. I found this chart gives us a real sense of the different orders of magnitude that we're talking about across regions. And just that little dot, that little blue dot, that's France, where I'm from. And it's the French AI champion Mistral that we in France are so proud of. But it is just a little dot. So hopefully a powerful dot and will grow. And that leads me to the final most important takeaway. Sorry about the resolution, but from our workshop on Wednesday, I think the key takeaway was that collaboration is this region's superpower. And across ministries, across sectors, across borders, we saw a real appetite for working together that is both inspiring and strategic. And with the right partnerships and targeted investments, the constraints faced today can become the foundation of tomorrow's competitive advantage. But we also need scale to scale, scaling up. So scaling up those successful experiments into the real world. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Karin. Ha sido una información muy provechosa. Por cuestiones de tiempo no vamos a poder abrir el espacio de preguntas. Sin embargo, más adelante pueden compartir ahora con ella en el espacio o alguna comunicación virtual también para poder profundizar en estos temas que nos presentó Karin.